How the Russian President, Vladimir Putin, spends his money. The Russian President, Vladimir Putin, has seen his net worth skyrocket with the strength of the Russian economy in recent years, but much of that wealth has been kept a secret until now. Though his official annual income from the government is around $240,000, Putin's real wealth may be in the billions, and he's not afraid to flaunt it. Here's what we know about his extravagant lifestyle and how he spends his money. Number 5. Homes and boats. Most of Vladimir Putin's money is spent on expensive home renovations. He lives in a 31-room mansion worth $20 million, with marble floors and gold fixtures. In addition to his mansion, he also owns a $700,000 super yacht that he can use to take vacations when he needs time away from his government job. He has many other assets worth millions, like shares in Russian gas companies, and an oligarch friend who is currently under sanctions by America. Vladimir Putin has come a long way since he first started working at 16 as a KGB agent, and going undercover as a spy for Russia. Nowadays, he resides in one of the most lavish homes in all of Europe, and dabbles in politics whenever it suits him. But even though he spends so much money on these luxuries, Vladimir Putin earns more than enough to cover these expenses. Some say this is just one example of how some politicians are able to abuse their power for their own personal gain, instead of using it for the betterment of their people or country. If you are enjoying the video, subscribe to Luxury Couch for more luxury videos. So, let's continue. Number 4. Luxury cars. While a hard economic life continues to plague many Russians, Putin is without a doubt living his best life. The President of Russia has access to an extensive fleet of fancy cars, many of which are imported straight from Italy. Included in his luxury car collection are a Lamborghini Aventador Roadster and the Ferrari 612 Scaglietti, both worth over $300,000. Not surprisingly, Putin also owns a couple Mercedes-AMG S65s for any time he feels like whipping around Russia in style. But it doesn't stop there. He also has some Range Rovers and assorted SUVs for when his grandkids visit with their families. The leader of Russia is clearly living large, but what does that mean for the rest of his country? Even though the economy has improved recently, many Russians still struggle just to make ends meet. With annual per capita income at about $14,500, Russia remains well below most European countries. Meanwhile, President Putin's personal fortune is estimated at over $200 billion. In other words, the average Russian earns about 7% of what Putin earns each year. Number 3. Collecting super yachts. While many people know that Russia's president is enormously wealthy, one thing they may not know is that he loves expensive boats. Put simply, Vladimir Putin has a serious obsession with luxury boats and cars, owning everything from 4 civets to multiple yachts worth over $10 million each. This expensive hobby has cost him billions of dollars. At last estimate, he had spent an astonishing $350 million just on his yacht fleet. As you can see in the photo below of his 399-foot mega yacht, rumored to be worth around $300 million, named Olympia, complete with marble floors and gold trimming. Being president of Russia isn't exactly bad work if you can get it. Although most of us have likely never heard of these yachts before now, they are quite impressive by any standard. The largest reaches 400 feet in length, and was custom built for Putin by shipbuilders, Yachtar Shipyard, as a gift for both his 60th birthday and as thank you for helping develop their business during 20 years of service under Putin's rule as Russia's leader. Number 2. Investments, wealth, and charity. Since coming to power in 1999, Vladimir Putin has grown increasingly wealthy. Born in 1952, and a relative pauper while growing up, he now has an estimated net worth of approximately $200 billion. This makes him one of the wealthiest people in the world. However, his role as Russia's president is in a salaried position. So how does Putin make all this money? Most of his wealth comes from investments. He owns stakes in many large companies, but he also earns quite a bit from speeches, presidential salary, and book royalties. He also owns many palaces across Russia. He can be seen here with Queen Elizabeth II at Buckingham Palace for the ceremonial reopening of number 10 Downing Street. Following renovations, it was reported that Putin was paid £16 million for this speech. The Kremlin claims that this figure is wrong, and insists that he only received £5,000 for his time. It is widely speculated that Putin amassed a vast fortune during his time in office. Forbes estimates that Putin is worth about $40 billion, making him richer than well-known oligarchs like Roman Abramovich, $9.1 billion, or Mikhail Prokhorov, $9 million. It is unclear how much he really cares about the money though. Reportedly, Putin gave his daughter, Maria, tens of billions of dollars before she married Kirill Shamalov in 2013. However, if you read Putin's own words on the subject, there are some things that are more important than money. Number 1. The other expensive hobbies. Putin also likes to invest his money in expensive hobbies. According to the Sunday Times, he spends at least $2 million a year importing fish and exotic pets like zebras and leopards. Meanwhile, he owns 17 palaces and 4 yachts. One of his most expensive hobbies is horseback riding. He has 1,000 horses in Moscow alone, and collects saddles from the 18th century onward that cost more than $200,000 each. He even won an equestrian competition in Sydney with a prize of 500,000 Australian dollars. Putin also loves hunting. This hobby has earned him prizes like the Order of St. Andrew from the Russian Orthodox Church, which honors achievements related to animal protection and conservation. When asked what he would spend all his money on if there was no limit, Putin answered, "I can't answer such questions. I think people should live modestly and shouldn't pursue false ideals. But I'm not going to preach it because we're talking about my personality here. I am very pleased when I see people around me enjoying their lives and doing the things they love, whether they're washing their car or cooking something delicious for their family or friends. We need these simple pleasures, as well as new types of digital communication and pleasant experiences created by modern design, architecture, cinema, and theater. I don't want us ever to forget that our main treasure is life itself." So, what do you think about today's video? Let me know in the comment section down. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to Luxury Couch for more luxury videos. If you want to know about the richest peoples in the crypto world, you can watch this video showing on your screen. And take care until next time.